In my second last year of school, I bought my first rental property with my friend Dan, who we ended up going to Europe together.
Yep.
Dan and his brother, and that was there was a cool arrangement. I didn't really have any money to be because I was in university. I didn't really have money to be spending on purchasing a house, but I grew up. My dad had rental properties, so I knew a bit about Guelph and the market and what to do as far as managing renovations and rental properties. So that was kind of what I brought to the table for that partnership. And then ended up selling that when I left university, sold it to my partners.
Yep.
And ended up leaving university with no debt and some money in my pocket to go to Asia and then eventually buy another house with. So,
well, heck, that's
that's
a story, man, right? Because a lot of people leave university with $200,000 of debt.
Yeah.
Right? And to be able to reverse that and actually come out of there above is fantastic. So, and that's something I like to dive into is, where did you learn about investment property? So you kind of mentioned your dad had a few properties.
I owe a lot of what I am and my knowledge to my dad.
Yeah.
I always say that it wasn't necessarily that he taught me everything. It was the mentality that he instilled in me that everything was figure outable.
Right.
Like you didn't need to be a plumber to figure out how to hook up a toilet, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to be a carpenter to figure out how to put trim on something, right? So it was that sort of mentality that I've carried with me, and I owe that to my dad. But yeah, so he had rental properties. I worked on some of the renovations on some of those, but then also doing some light property management duties, and obviously always talking to my dad about real estate. And I would attend RAIN events with him because he started buying in 2008, 2009. That was when he started his investment, like right after the sort of crash there. If you could call it that. There wasn't really a huge crashing. It was just kind of like a flatlining. That was when he sort of started buying. And since then he had been telling me, like, buy a property as soon as you can, like get into the market as quickly as possible. Right. And that was what put the pressure on me to sort of figure out how to buy a property and why I came up with such an interesting arrangement for the first property that I purchased, which was a three-way JV.